Right from the start, you can feel the tension in the air. This isn't just another court hearing, this is a reckoning. The judge's tone, cold, deliberate, and heavy with what's coming next.
All right, Mr. Jones, I'll be honest with you, that's not too often I find myself in my life that I'm at somewhat of a loss of words. To begin with, I would submit to you that all lives matter. Not just black lives, not just Asian lives, but all lives matter. As I pondered this sentencing over the weekend, I tried to myself make some sense of it. Those of us, I think, who work in this system tend to see the worst in society, and sometimes we get a little desensitized to those types of offenses. And then there comes a situation like this that comes around every once in a great while. When you talk about a senseless act of random violence, there's really no other words that come to my mind that describe this. I think senseless violence is almost, by definition, hard to understand. And somehow to attempt to justify the taking of Jared's life is really incomprehensible to me. With respect to the merger of counts in the indictment, I do find the following. Counts 1 and 2 will merge, and I think the state has already elected to proceed.
Correct, Your Honor.
Counts 3 and 7 would merge, and the state would elect to proceed on count 3.
Correct.
Counts 4 and 8 would merge, and the state would elect to proceed on count 4.
Correct.
Counts 12 and 17 merge, and the state would elect to proceed on count 17.
Correct.
Counts 14 and 19 would merge, and the state elects to proceed on count 14.
Correct.
Counts 15 and 20.
I think you skipped 13.
13. 13 would potentially merge with 18. Is that what we're talking about, Mr. Thomas?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Also, we would elect to go on count 12, not count 17. Count 12 is the attempted murder. Count 17 merges with that. And then starting with then count 13, we would like to go on count 13, which 18 merges with that, and then continue. Go ahead.
All right. We back up one step then, so counts 12 and 17 merge, state elects to proceed on 12. Counts 13 and 18 merge, state elects to proceed on 14.
On 13?
I'm sorry, I said that again. So 13 and 18 merge, and state elects to proceed on 13. 14 and 19 merge, state elects to proceed on 14. 15 and 20 merge, state elects to proceed on 15. 16 and 21 merge, state elects to proceed on 21.
16, Your Honor.
On 16. Thank you. 34 and 35 would merge, and the state elects to proceed on 34.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. With respect to the firearm specifications, the court finds that the 1 year, 3 year, and 54-month firearm specification on each counts 1 through 21 would merge into a single 54-month specification for that particular count. And pursuant to revised code section 29.14B1E, I will dismiss the one-year firearm specification on count 34. Court
Senseless violence. You can almost hear the judge struggling to comprehend the cruelty. This isn't about legal terms anymore, it's about morality, loss, and the haunting question of why. What would you do if you had to sentence someone for something this unimaginable?
Counts 12 through 21 would merge. After considering the overriding purposes and principles set forth in sections 29-11, I do find following and impose the following sentence. As to count 1, the 54-month on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of a life without the possibility of parole sentence. As to count 3, 54 months on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 9 years. As to count 4, 54 months on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 9 years. As to count 5, a 54-month sentence on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 9 years. As to count 6, 54 months on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 9 years. As to count 9, 54-month sentence on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 36 months. As to count 10, 54 months on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 6 years. As to count 11, 54-month firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 6 years. As to count 12, the 54 months on the 54-month firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to 5 years on the 5-year firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 10 years. As to count 13, 54 months on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 6 years. As to count 14, a 54-month sentence on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 6 years. As to count 15, a 54 months on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 6 years. As to count 16, 54-month sentence on the firearm specification to run prior to and consecutive to a sentence of 6 years. As to count 22, be a 24-month sentence. As to count 23, it will be a 12-month sentence. As to count 24, it will be a 12-month sentence. As to count 25, be a sentence of 24 months. The court also imposes a lifetime suspension upon your driving privileges. As to count 26, a sentence of 24 months. As to count 27, a sentence of 12 months. As to count 28, a sentence of 24 months. As to count 29, a sentence of 12 months. As to count 30, a sentence of 10 years. As to count 31, a sentence of 8 years. As to count 32, a sentence of 180 days. As to count 33, a sentence of 90 days. As to count 34, a sentence of 36 months. I will run the sentences in counts 3 and 5 concurrent with each other but consecutive to all their counts. The sentences in counts 4 and 6 concurrent with each other but consecutive to all their other counts. I will also run the sentences in counts 32 and 33, the 180 days and 90 days respectively, concurrent with all other sentences.
quick legal breakdown when the judge says the charges merge. That's not mercy, it's procedure. It prevents stacking punishments for the same act. Basically, the system is making sure the sentence is fair before it becomes devastating.
In this situation, I do find that a consecutive sentence is necessary to protect the public from future crimes or to punish you, and that consecutive sentences are not disproportionate to the seriousness of your conduct and to the danger, truly, the danger that you pose to the public. Specifically, I find that you were on PRC when you committed these offenses. The crimes for which you were on PRC were offenses of violence involving firearms, that these offenses were committed as a part of a course of conduct, and that the harm caused by these multiple offenses so committed was so great or unusual that no single prison term for any of these offenses committed as part of the course of conduct would adequately reflect the seriousness of your conduct. Therefore, all the sentences that I've outlined will run consecutive to each other. If one, I can give you an aggregate sentence, but I don't have that right in front of me. 5 years mandatory PRC. You'll be given credit for all time served. You'll be ordered to pay restitution in the amount of $4,774.55 to the Plessick family, and an amount of $1,800 to Ms. Altier. Anything else on behalf of the state?
Just to clarify, are the enumerated specific sentences concurrent or consecutive to the sentence of life without parole?
They are consecutive to the sentence of life without parole. All of the sentences, including all the firearm specifications, to run consecutive to each other.
And we would ask you respectfully to articulate the purposes and principles of sentencing.
Well, again, the purpose and principles are to protect the public from future crimes, which is clearly needed in a situation like this, and to punish the offender, which is clearly a necessity in this matter. And again, they're not disproportionate to the seriousness of this offense. I know that there is the need to, or be mindful of the need to incapacitate. So anything else?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else we have defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sheriff of Transport, good luck to you, Mr. Jones. Thank you all. We'll be in recess.
All rise.
Justice for Jack.